yeah, I am your goddess Nesca, here with the trucker woman. We are reacting to...
Jonnny Somali's appeal is already in trouble.
Lead Ismail, aka Jonnny Somail, is already in trouble on his appeal as he has been dumped by his lawyer in the face of an important new filing that may end up getting him even more jail time. We'll get that today on The Legal Mindset, where we teach you to be your own judge.
Wait. So why does he not have a lawyer anymore?
Because the lawyer was paid through Hank, and Hank is cutting him off.
But wait, I thought... Wait, you can... How much does a fucking lawyer get paid?
Apparently, like, it's any lawyers could make good money. You gotta pay money for lawyers.
I know, but wasn't he already paid for?
Well, you only get paid for the appeal.
Did the check bounce?
Well, you gotta pay for the appeal.
Oh, he has to pay him more.
Yeah.
Oh, and he don't have funds.
I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney.
He got the divorce.
Yeah. He took the lawyer.
So for some background here, an important factor, as he's moved off to the detention center, he's currently sitting in Seoul Nambu Detention Center after that trial.
He has to sleep next to a hole in the ground where everybody shits. That's his day in and day out life.
Yep.
Where he walked in so confidently. Yeah. He's now sitting in there in that jail cell, not enjoying himself, coping in prison letters. But an important thing is he's cut his link with Hank. And that's very, very important because Hank was the source of all of his support. And you can see that in this video.
I have sacrificed my finances. You know, like I've actually, like Jonnny ran out of money because they refused Jonnny to work.
You need to set animal commercials.
So Hank realized that trying to support this so-called friend of his was actually a waste of time.
For 15 cents a day, you can keep Jonnny Somail's legal fund going.
Will you be an angel for Jonnny?
And you know the sad animal behind cages. It shows him
arms of the angels.
Next to someone shit next to his head.
So I've been actually providing for him.
He's been helping me a lot. He's been helping me with not only like legal fees and stuff like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And once again, Hank paid for the entire bill there. Jonnny did not foot a single dime towards that. There were IOUs we exposed on this channel that Jonnny wrote to Hank, but that was fully funded by Hank to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars.
He's helped me pay for a lawyer and stuff like that, and he's a great friend. Like, honestly, I respect him for that. And when I get out of here, a lot of it I do owe to Hank.
Now, despite saying he owes things to Hank, he's absolutely stabbed him in the back, taking tens of thousands of additional dollars from Jonnny Somail, according to all reports. And because of that, Hank has pulled back his support. And perhaps one of the most important things that he's pulled back on is the lawyer. Now, Jonnny Somail's lawyer, as seen here, was likely provided through a family connection of Hank's. Hank is from a silver spoon family in Korea.
Korean lawyers' rates range from 30,000 to 101.5 million won, which is probably about $200 to $1,000
US. Damn.
Yeah.
Highbrow, high connected family, you know, with his grandfather being a high prosecutor in Korea.
The only thing I can figure is Hank was thinking maybe Jonnny would be a investment kind of friend, and he realized he is far more trouble than he's worth.
Oh my God.
So because of that, they knew people, and they likely had this family attorney that they offered up and had a connection to. Typically does different types of cases, typically works in civil law, although he had some criminal experience in the past, and had him work on this case for Jonnny Somail, which was fully funded by Hank's money. Now, it's no surprise that Jonnny Somail would have trouble finding a lawyer in Korea. Most advertisements are not in English. It's very difficult to find lawyers that are bilingual and also handle cases at a high level and at a level of precision.
Let me make a guess here. The free lawyer he's going to get appointed to probably doesn't speak English.
Probably.
He fucked.
unless you have a good amount of funds, right? They're going to require a large amount. They're going to require large retainers in order to engage them. But Jonnny Somail was able to get this lawyer at a discount price relative to what you'd normally have to pay for an attorney. Now, we can comment a lot about the decisions of the attorney. Certainly, he made statements during the trial, like the fact that Jonnny Somail was never going to jail.
Does he think that this charge...
He wishes he's dead right now.
Oh, why? Did you think he'd get killed by the booty warriors by now?
Probably.
Jail time. This charge, people are saying I'm going to go to jail for this. Is that true? What do you say?
Of course not.
He's saying that
And while that was definitely a mistake and something that he shouldn't have said, there aren't many things that he did during the trial that he could have done radically different to get a radically different result. This is a case where probably he did the best he could at that trial, and it was the best outcome that Jonnny Somail could probably hope for, given his behavior, his lack of remorse, his failing to submit an apology, all of these factors which were within his control. Jonnny Somail had the ability to do better in his case, to fight in a different way, but he chose to go with the strategy and go with general PR that was damaging to him in the long run. But now we have just found out in a new development just yesterday that Jonnny Somail's previous trial lawyer, the one provided by Hank, has now dumped him. Now that one, once again fully funded by Hank, is now gone. That is a big deal because that attorney had gone through mountains of evidence,
Hank is
was
a hero
very familiar
now.
with Johnny's case, was familiar with all of the incidents, the bus, the ramen, Lotte World, the fish, everything, the deep fish, everything
Oh yeah,
he
the
was
rotting fish.
doing in Seoul, and everything he was charged with, all of those 8 counts. You've now got to get a new lawyer up to speed that has no idea about the details of this. Yes, maybe a lawyer has heard of Jonnny Somail, but they probably haven't gone into the case or gone into the details in a very deep fashion. And because of that, and because he lost this private attorney, and because it's very unlikely that Jonnny Somail will be able to have someone like Hank to get him a new attorney, he is going to be assigned and has been assigned a public defender. Now, public defenders are free for appeals. They're given to anybody that wants to appeal. That's something that is no cost to Somail. But public defenders, much in Korea, much the same as public defenders in the United States, are overworked. They're very, very overworked. They have a huge burden, and they often can't put the same time and focus that a private attorney can do. That doesn't mean they're incompetent. That doesn't mean they might not do a good job. It just means that
I thought some Korean prisoners went for his booty when he dropped his soap.
Oh, that's happening. It's just...
Well, right now he's not in a prison. He is in a detention center.
Which is worse than a prison. Are you okay, Kat?
He just sneezed. He's grumpy.
it's perhaps not as good as if he still had those connections with Hank or somebody else in Korea that was helping him out. And that's a big loss for him because it came just at the exact same day as a new petition was filed by a victim. Yes, we have a new filing, and that is a petition for severe punishment. Now, some of you may be familiar with this because this is actually the second one in this case, but just as an overview, a petition for severe punishment is something that can be filed for a victim, but it requires some factual statements. It requires the victim to explain the damage to them. It requires all the documentation of any attempt that Somail would have made to reconcile or to settle the case with them. It also requires that Somail shows a lack of remorse or reflection, which we absolutely have seen in this case. In fact, he said, I never feel remorse. I'm not sorry for anything.
Why are you bullying people in other countries? For money. Like,
for clout. I've said it many times.
At this point, the only thing you can maybe get is clout, but that's not going to help you. You're definitely not doing this for money anymore, because now you're going to be out so much. He's in the negative money at this point.
Pretty much. Jonnny was going to become the Korean boo in the detention center.
Korea boo. Hi, Shogun. Welcome.
So that's been very, very easy to prove there. But the last one you have to add in there are facts for the reason that you're submitting the petition. So the incident involved. It could have been someone at Lotte World. It could have been someone on the bus, in the subway, with the ramen, the fish, anywhere, any of those charges involved. So that is something that is all required as a fact. This is not an emotional appeal. This is not something that you at home can write the judge or write.
Yeah, he landed in September of 24.
So this was meant to be just a sweet little harassing vacation, and now he's living here.
Yeah. He landed impelled down.
The court and just get a extra petition thrown in. No, it's got to be an actual victim who's stating the facts of the case. But once this is submitted, it is evidence for aggravating, i.e. extending his sentence, making his sentence worse, making his punishment more severe. So we now have, as I've said, 2 petitions. Remember, if you've been tracking this case and following my channel, which, by the way, take the time to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. The first petition was filed about 10 months ago during the case. But this one was just filed this week, and it is by a different victim. So we now have not one, but 2.
Okay, so he has like 3 petitions against him now?
No, this would be the second one.
Oh, this will be the second one? Oh, okay, so the first one was that the one where they were trying to add another 6 months or something?
I think it was the Lotte World lady.
Uh-huh.
I think that's what that is.
And now he's getting a second one here.
Yeah.
And, see, second petition for service punishment failed in Somali's case. First petition failed 10 months ago. Oh, the first petition failed?
Yeah, I guess.
Different victim than the first petition. Okay. Reviewed by a panel of 3 judges on appeal along with the first petition.
Victims that are coming up asking for severe punishment. And this is not just going to be reviewed by that single judge. We now on appeal are going to have a panel of 3 judges. So we're going to have a broader swath of expertise, opinions that are going to be looking at this and saying, okay, is this sentence 6 months really appropriate given that we now have even more petitions coming in? We have more that is being dropped.
I do have to wonder if they're a little bit afraid of Jonnny because he is American.
I don't think so.
Someone needs to call Donald Trump and just to give him a little pat on the back and say, it's okay that you could do whatever you want. Someone needs to call Donald Trump and be like, hey, can you make sure you don't help this guy? He deserves whatever punishment Korea gives him.
Yeah.
We don't want him back.
In this case, how is that going to look for the panel? I do think the panel will not take that
Trump
kindly.
needs to tell them it's fine. Do
let's
what
go to
you
my
feel is
judgment.
right.
So in judgment, losing Hank has been a massive L for Somail. Hank had a lot of flaws and Hank had a lot of problems and defects. But despite all those flaws, he was a huge help to Somail financially, connection-wise. Korea is not an easy country to navigate without Korean allies. And I say that as someone who lived there for 3 years and relied on many Koreans to just get by in daily life dealing with bureaucracy.
He lost his best friend, but soon he's going to have a lot of friends. And a butt.
Democracy, everything else. Having people that are Korean friends, fluent in Korean, is an extraordinary bonus in Korea, and he's now lost that. Furthermore, this public defender is going to need to review this case and get on top of all this evidence, which is horrible for Somail rushing his case. As we've talked about, his 6-month sentence is looking more like a year.
The U.S. State Department has already turned down a request from Jonnny Somail to intervene in his behalf with South Korea. Yay! USA! USA!
He can stay there. He's going to get the Korean booty warrior.
Welcome, Gundam Plays.
Oh.
I like your name.
Because of the length of this appeal. And with this switch to a public defender, the appeal is going to take even longer. You could say, you could think that if it was the same attorney, reasonably, you can imagine that they might get ready quicker because they're already familiar with the facts. They're already familiar with, the circumstances. They're familiar with what happened in the trial. Well, now this public defender's got to catch up on all of this, the relevent law, and that is a big disadvantage. And, for the debatable flaws that Johnny's first attorney may have had.
That's a good idea. Just have him in a cage and be like, okay, boy, we're letting you free now. And then open the cage and it's just a shot all the way between the South Korean, North Korean border. It's like, all right, all you have to do is get across.
He can get out of a sentence. He's got to run across North Korea without getting caught or killed. Make it to China or Russia, then make it out of Russia.
Freeing the mines.
Actually was passionate about wanting to fight the appeal of the deepfake charges. It's not to be said whether or not the public defender, we don't know whether this public defender will actually care to fight this on the merits of the law. We'll have to see. And lastly, this new petition is vastly increasing the odds for a larger sentence, and we are hoping for the maximum possible punishment. But it's very clear at this stage that Somali's appeal is already in danger. I want to know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one.
I think he cooked. Hooray. Thanks to Gundam with that lovely little information. The U.S. Department already refused to help his request.
The dude.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us for this video. Bye. Thank you all for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and comment. It would make me very happy. Kiss, kiss.